All right, thank you. Good morning, it's 9:01. Like I said, we are recording this session, so just so everyone's aware of that, that we can share it with anyone who was unable to be here, or if you by chance have to leave early, you can come revisit it. It is the same deck we've been using the entire time. There are updates to it, but we wanted to, do this as more of a review. Since the last time we held our 2 parent sessions was, about a month ago. So we wanted to just keep everyone's updated and, refresh everyone on the reopening. So I'll let Mrs. Munn start us off as I kind of probably admit a couple more people, and then we'll get going.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. And again, it is being recorded. So remind those that are not here that have the opportunity today to see it that they can, and it will be in our newsletter and on our website. Just wanted to say good morning, and we're so excited to see the kids back. It's been a long time. I will tell you too, the kindergarten through actually 6th grade teachers have been reporting to school every day since Monday, and all the protocols are in place. They're excited to be here teaching from the classrooms. Mr. Kennedy has done an outstanding job with the reopening information, getting everybody communicated in the planning, and communicating not only the teachers but the parents as well. So we appreciate you being here, and like we said, we do update this often. So please help us spread the word. I'm gonna let you take it over, Mr. Kennedy.
All right, thank you. So again, this is kind of a working document where we've been adding different updated slides throughout since our initial meetings back in January. In February, we added more information. So it is a robust deck. I believe it started at about 32 slides. I think it's about double that now. But not more information the better. So we are probably going to leave as much time for a Q&A as possible, just because I don't want to go over the whole presentation since we've already done that. But I will kind of touch on a couple of new points or refresh our memory on any, things that may be a little confusing leading up to this point. So again, our numbers really have not changed. The only way they have changed a little bit was based on if students initially selected the hybrid model and decided to change their determination to the remote model. So remember, these are fixed pods. So we are unable to add students. We currently have 600 students enrolled, as you can see at the top right. So any of those 248 students, the 41%, if they would like to opt into hybrid, they will be able to do so probably at the end of March, early April. They'll get this same survey that you got the last time around from CPS, asking for you to make your determination for 4th quarter. So, and then parents that are, in this 354, they can also change their determination if they want. Like I said, that new survey will probably come out end of March, early April. So that is not done through the school, that is done through CPS. Okay, so here's kind of how it looks. Like I said, we did make the schedule adjustments. I appreciate everyone's flexibility. I know February 8th, when 3rd quarter started, it may have been a little rough in terms of some Google Classrooms did not update. Everything in Aspen was updated. We had a couple of homeroom changes, which we know, we try to make the least amount of changes as possible. So unfortunately, a couple of kids did move homeroom teachers, hypothetically, but, the beauty of that was we were able to keep their schedule the same in terms of, if they're in, 6-1 section, then they remain in 6-1 and so on. So, we were happy to be able to keep the schedule the same, albeit some homeroom situations did change. So again, the homeroom for K2 did not change at all, except for kindergarten most recently, but 3rd through 8th, they're not really with their homeroom that much at all, except for their specials. So that was the only kind of thing that did change. So we appreciate the flexibility on the front end. But again, there won't be any more schedule changes for the rest of the year. So we thought it made the most sense to do it at the start of 3rd quarter on February 8th, rather than doing it, this coming Monday, when there's already going to be enough of adjustment with, 350 students being in the building, or I guess a little less because 6, 7, 8 do not come to the following week. So again, the K2 schedule didn't change. They're still eating lunch 11 to 12. Third, fourth, it got swapped a little bit in terms of their asynchronous block and their lunch. And then 5th through 8th, their lunch did move back an hour. So just to remind you, again, those changes were done for a variety of reasons. One being supervision. The teachers are not supervising the kids during lunch and recess. That is our support staff. So we had to make sure we have enough supervision. If we had everyone eating at 11 to 12, we wouldn't have had enough bodies to supervise all of those different lunch and recess times, or space at recess and all of that. So there was a method to the madness. But so again, schedules didn't change. In theory, like I said, specials, they remain the same. So if they had, I believe kindergarten last quarter had PE, art, and STEM. Now they have music, technology, and PE. So again, those are still on a rotating quarter basis. These numbers, again, have not really changed. The only ones they would have changed, we tried to make these, we did them alphabetically, remember, because we wanted to make sure that kids in the same family and the same last name were in the same shift day, of course. But you'll see like a couple of these numbers, they are somewhat lopsided. Like here you have 8 kids on Thursday, Friday. You have 4 on Monday, Tuesday. So we already notified you guys what day your students were coming. We did not want to go back and start changing and shifting. So, in theory, could we have made this, 6 and 6? Yes, but because those were already sent out, we didn't want to, have anything changed. So the teachers are staying the same. So again, Miss Owen, who's taking over from Miss Calvert, who had a baby girl, she will have the 4 kids in front of her on Monday, Tuesday with the 19 remote. On Thursday, Friday, she'll have the 8 kids in front of her with the 15 remote. So we're really excited to have the teachers back. The teachers have had a little bit of extra prep time over the last 2 days. And then today they have the whole afternoon with our shortened bell schedule for K6. So we've worked tirelessly on, modeling the teaching in the room so that, we're adhering to both the students in person and the students remotely. We've, troubleshooted all of the technology issues over the last, day and a half. And, we'll continue to do that. And then tomorrow the teachers are really going to be executing and implementing it, envisioning like they have the 9 or 10 or 12 or 13 kids in front of them. So, we're getting as prepared as possible to make the transition as smooth as possible. So just to remind you, I'm not going to go over all of this, but, the homerooms, a lot of the question was asked, why are the kids not all eating in their homerooms? And like I said at the last presentation, just to refresh, the reason being is that, one, the supervision. If I had every kid eating in the homeroom, Mrs. Munns and I need more adults to supervise that because they're in different locations. But 2, we need a spot for the teachers to go to eat too, right? So we know we're overcrowded. So when these 3rd and 4th graders are all eating from 10:15 to 11:15, these 6 teachers, 7 if you count Miss Murphy, who's a 3rd, 4th DL teacher, the 7 teachers need a place to go because if they were all eating in their homeroom, they wouldn't be able to eat in there either. So that's why these 6 teachers plus Ms. Murphy can now go into one of these rooms to eat for 113, 116, or 119 because these kids are utilizing the CAF. So there was a reason behind that. And, that was one of the main reasons along with the supervision piece. We've modeled and kind of role played our plan over and over the last couple of weeks and especially the last couple of days. So, we're really confident and excited to start, executing and implementing it, with who's going to lunch first, who's going to recess second, and how that's all going to look, where they're coming to wash their hands. If, for example, these 3rd graders have recess first, they come in, they're washing their hands in the cafeteria. There's like a recycling hallway, if you're familiar with that. And then they'll be able to go to their rooms to eat. These guys will eat first, and they'll go to recess second. So that just gives you a little bit of insight into what that model looks like for each specific grade. Again, same thing here for 5th, 6th. And then we know our 6th, 7th, and 8th do not start till the following Monday. So March 8th will be the first day for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade coming into the building if you have signed up for hybrid. Okay, so we did talk about the shortened bell schedule. So the shortened bell schedule is something that CPS put in place to make this transition as effective as possible. So on Wednesdays, and a lot of the suburbs have been doing this, and Catholic schools have been doing this a while. If I know most Catholic schools are, 5 days maybe, but a lot of the suburb school, I know Highland Park, Deerfield, my sister teaches in Schaumburg. A lot of them have been doing, one day where it's a little bit geared more towards asynchronous work. So, I think CPS saw that. They thought it was a good idea. In addition, it allows us, for that deep clean day on Wednesday. So today is our first day for the shortened bell schedule. So it's kind of a sprint in terms of the morning and what that looks like. And then the afternoon, they will have asynchronous work based on Google Classroom or however the teachers have communicated it. It does look a little bit different for each grade. So that's why we kind of left that up to the teachers for them to communicate that with you. But everyone will have lunch 11 to 12 on Wednesdays at home, and then 12 to 3 will be that asynchronous block. So we did break it down by grade level. So again, this starts today. So you'll see Mrs. Yadao and Mrs. Berry's kids, they had their morning meeting in their homeroom Google Meet, and then at 8:30, after a half hour, they were into their special for a half hour. So they had we had Mrs. Berry's kids had music with Miss Cerna, and then Mrs. Yadao's kids had technology Miss Court today. So, it's just a quick half hour, and then they're back for ELA writing for an hour, and then math, social science will be kind of on a rotating basis. The teachers will kind of work in that. And then it looks, pretty similar in each grade. So K1 have the special at the same time. You see the 9:30 to 10 for the second grade special. So that's what the shortened bell looks like. So yeah, again, this is definitely something that is a little bit different from what the kids are used to. They're used to being on that Google Meet for the entirety of the school day. So their Wednesday will look a little different going forward, but that's not a bad thing. And I think, the kids will be able to easily adjust like they have the entire year. So again, we're super proud of everything you've done on your end as parents, but also the kids, the level of their flexibility has been pretty inspiring. And, this transition will only kind of highlight that. All right. So there's the 5th, 6th shortened bell schedule, which also starts today. And then if you see here, the 7th, 8th one, they have a full day today, 7th, 8th. Their shortened bell schedule will not start until the following Wednesday. So if you see down here, it says 3-3. So theirs starts next Wednesday. So our 7th, 8th grade students are in their full regular schedule today. And then our 7th, 8th grade teachers come back next week. So next week, they'll have their shortened bell schedule. And then from 12 to 3, Miss Trainer, Miss Murphy, Miss French, Mr. Lundak, et cetera, will be, using that time to troubleshoot technology, set up their classrooms, make them look very classroom-like, which maybe they haven't looked like in the past couple months. So that's what that'll look like. And then every Wednesday going forward will be the same. Okay, so the health screener is going to be probably the biggest adjustment. So this is really a message to these parents that have elected for hybrid. If your student is staying remote or you are in hybrid and it's days where your kid is not coming in the building, the health screener does not need to be done. So the health screener only needs to be completed if your student is coming to the building that day, okay? This is really important because it's only going to make our morning routine easier on our end. So, the attention to this would be super appreciated, because if we have, multiple kids at a specific door that don't have their health screener done, it just kind of creates for a little bit of I don't want to say a headache, but a little bit of a pivot that we're going to have to do in the morning. So, if there is a slide here showing you how to opt in for text messages, otherwise you can email Miss Vicky or I, and we can opt you in. This does not make the screener any easier. It does just give you a reminder. So you will get an automated text message at 6 a.m. on the days that your kid is in the building. It might even come every day. I don't even know that. But it's basically a 6 a.m. text message saying reminder to do screener, and it'll have a link in there. So it doesn't make it necessarily any quicker, but it does make it a nice reminder. So, I've been doing the health screener. Mrs. Munn's been doing the health screener since last March. I'm usually filling up my Keurig coffee on my kitchen counter, and I'm doing it right then while I wait for the coffee to fill up. So I'm sure you'll find your own routine. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt if you have multiple kids and you got to do it, for 2 or 3 kids, because it does take, 2 minutes maybe, I would say. So if you got 3 kids coming in on a specific day, it may take you, upwards of 6, 7, 8 minutes. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, we appreciate the attention to that. So this is something that was shared yesterday from Murphy School. So Mrs. Munn's, one of her colleagues that she's worked with for a long time, Krista Link is the principal over there. They put together this checklist. So we are going to make our own checklist today, Miss Maria, Miss Vicky, and I. So I'm not stealing theirs since it says Murphy School, but I did want to give you a little visual as to what kind of this will look like. So again, it reminds you to do the health screener. It gives you the green light for a pass to make sure you're green. So again, that health screener is very detailed. You know, if you've traveled out of the state, you're going to fail the screener. If you have any symptoms, you're going to fail the screener. If you have been in contact with someone with COVID-19, you're going to fail the screener. So getting familiar with what that screener looks like and what those questions are will help you. It is highly encouraged for the students to bring water bottles because the drinking fountains are closed. So remember in the initial slide, we have our water bottle fillers, compliments of the PTO last year, which are game changers for this school year. We never knew they'd come in such handy. I mean, they've been great, but this year that's even, further of need. So those are going to be awesome. So definitely encourage that. And then face masks to bring. Now, every student will get 3 CPS issued washable face masks. So they're blue. They come in youth and adult sizes. So it's blue with like this white outline. They're nice. They're 2, double lines. So you got the double cloth and they're washable. So, I wear this and then I'll throw it in with my laundry, and so on. So every kid will get 3 the minute they come in. But the first day they will have to bring their own mask. And then the Chromebooks. So the Chromebooks will go to and from along with their other supplies. So we don't really have anything school-wide that we're telling the kids to bring because that's going to be done more at the classroom level. But again, keep in mind that the kids will probably bring, I'll use 3rd grade for example, they're going to bring their Chromebook charged. We want the Chromebook to be charged at night. So it should come charged. They do not have to bring their charger. We'll have a couple of charging stations in each room. And then they should bring their math and vision book, their Worthy Wise book, their grammar book, any of those workbook type consumables that they'll need. And then a couple of things to write with. And then, teachers will be in contact in terms of, do they want them to bring a journal, notebook, or stuff like that? So that's not something we're really going to communicate at the school level because that may look a little bit different in each grade. But again, the expectation is not for, we're bringing this wide range of supplies and art supplies and this and that. It's going to be pretty simplistic because that same expectation is not going to be met for the kids that are not coming in that specific day or maybe are working remotely all 5 days. And then the only thing different on our checklist from Murphy's is it says line up outside 6 feet apart. Again, we will be doing our soft opening where the kids will be coming in starting at 7:50 between 8 o'clock. So they will not be waiting outside. So unless you get here before 7:50. So if they get here at 7:45, they will be waiting outside and then we'll open the doors at 7:50. They'll start rolling in. So again, these numbers are pretty updated. So again, if you let's take door 7 where 8th grade is coming in. We have 26 kids coming in this door on Monday, Tuesday, 19 kids coming in Thursday, Friday. So their health screener should be completed prior to coming in, and then they'll get a temperature check about 15 to 20 feet inside the door. And then, once they pass that, they'll go line up in front of their lockers, waiting for the 8 a.m. bell, and then they'll enter their classrooms. So, and then you know what we are actually going to update this a little bit. Let me update it right now before I forget. One thing we are going to do is we are going to let a couple of grade levels out at 255. And the reason we're doing this, it's actually going to be K and then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I did just update it. Let's hope it updates here. So again, the reason we're going to let them out is a couple reasons. One, it alleviates traffic in the hallway because we do have a couple, you have 6th grade and 4th grade that are using the same door for entry and exit. You have 1st and 5th grade that are using the same door for entry and exit, and you have 3rd and 7th. So what we're doing by allowing kindergarten, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th to let out at 255, they'll be out of the building, so there will only be one grade level coming out that specific door. Also, we are not doing a sibling pickup. So if you have a student in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they have that 5-minute time to walk around to their sibling's door to pick them up. And need. We can't do it. We can't do that. We kind of did away with the sibling pickup got so big in years past that we kind of started doing away with it actually last year. But allowing 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th to leave that 5 minutes earlier will, make that dismissal process a little bit easier. I'm going to go through a couple more things, and then, we're going to open up for Q&A. So again, I know everyone, you got your own things you're doing this morning or you are taking time out of your workday. So we appreciate it. We'll make it as quick as possible. So this visual complements of Google Maps gives you a little bit of insight into who's going in what door in case you're a new family or in case your kid's in a new grade and you're not familiar. So it's color coded and, all that. And then we got more slides dedicated to what this looks like. Okay. So again, 7:50 will be the earliest they will be let in. We are doing our one-way traffic pattern. So this is really important for any new families that are not familiar, or any kindergarten families that are new to the school. It is a one-way traffic pattern around the school building starting at 7:45. So there will be a horse right here so that you are not going to be able to head northbound down Kilpatrick. And there will also be a horse here on Lamont right outside door 1, not allowing you to go southbound down Keating. So this is a one-way traffic pattern. So let's say you live on the other side of Peterson and you want to come down Kilpatrick. You can turn on Kilpatrick here. You'll just have to go down the alleyway to get to Keating and then do the loop around. If there's an easier route, that's up to you. But we are going to do, again, we don't have 660 students like we had last year. So we're not anticipating as crazy of a morning traffic pattern, but we are, Mr. Angel still planning on being out at this corner. I'm still planning on being out at this corner. We have an employee that will do a kiss and go here. So this kiss and go will be for right where this red X is. This will be for kindergarten and first grade. So someone will open the door for them. I understand kindergarten, you may want to walk them to the entrance with it being, such a new thing for them, and that's totally fine. If you are walking your kid to any entrance, you need to park off the campus block. So you need to park on Kilpatrick north of Hiawatha or Hiawatha east of Kilpatrick. Some parents park over here on Hiawatha on this side of Lamont. So we want to keep the traffic pattern, moving in that one-way pattern. So you're not going to be able to park here on Kilpatrick and walk your kid right across the street. You're going to have to park a little bit further down and then walk them to the door. And then, as they get acclimated and, they get that re-energizing of coming in the building and, all of the nerves and all that go away, if dropping them off at the kiss and go is a reasonable thing for you and your family, then we definitely expect you and encourage you to take advantage of it. So this person will just open the back door. You can unbuckle your child and then they'll hop out. Kindergartners will walk straight up this sidewalk right here to their door. First graders will do a little bit of a walk down the main sidewalk and then go up this sidewalk right here. And then second graders, they are a little older. So Friday, we may not have someone there. We will have someone there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday for sure. But they can get out here and then they walk right up this thing and go in their back door number 8. So that is pretty much that. And like I said, the dismissals, I'll update this as well. Kindergarten and then 5th through 8th will be dismissed at 2:55. All right. Breakfast, lunch. So breakfast will be provided in a grab and go fashion. Unless the kids want to eat at home. That's, I know a lot of them elect to do that. In years past, we had breakfast before the bell at 7:45 in the calf. We're not doing that with all the different pods. So it is pretty much where they would grab a bag of either a cold or hot option. So a cold option would be like an apple and a string cheese, so to speak, and a granola bar. A hot option may be like a warm muffin and, whatever, an orange or something like that. So they'll grab that after they come in and they'll bring it up to their classroom and they'll have, a short amount of time to eat it while the attendance is being taken. Teaching models, tons of training on this the last couple of days and we'll continue throughout the week. So the goal is to make this as smooth as possible, and we don't see any, step backward, which we don't envision. And then, tons of pictures to kind of outline it. So this is what we're calling our teacher runway. So again, these are shared spaces. Remember, the kids are not moving. So this is Miss Gustafson's room right here. So in 103, if your kid's in 103, they would be sitting in one of these socially distant desks, and Miss Gustafson would be in here mostly. However, you will have Miss Karasik that'll be coming in here to teach writing, and you will have Miss Haig that'll be coming in here to teach social studies, and then you'll have a variety of the special teachers. So if they're at first grade, this quarter has STEM, art, and PE. So Mr. Lopez, Miss Kelly, and Miss Askovich would be coming down what we're calling this teacher runway, and then they set up at this teacher station. So they're ready to rock and roll. And then, you know, we made that look the same in every room. So this is Miss Brinza's room, I believe. So again, that teacher runway looks the same. So because teachers are sharing spaces now, it makes for a nice, easy, smooth transfer from room to room. Okay, we went over extensively with the COVID reporting tools, the positive test protocol. They are testing us twice a month. Mrs. Buns and I actually get tested every week. I've been tested 5 weeks in a row. So they come on Thursday or Friday. They're here for about 20 to 30 minutes for whoever's on their random test COVID testing sheet. So the staff will get a test twice a month. And then, like I said, Mrs. Munns and I are every Friday. So I've been tested 5 weeks in a row. It takes literally, a minute. You put the swab up your right nose and just swirl it around. You put it up your other nostril, swirl it around. They take it, they drop their solution on it, and then it goes into this folder, and then they check it 5 minutes later after the timer goes off. If there was a presumptive positive, it would be a call back to the room, the COVID testing room, and they would be doing a PCR test. And then that teacher, if that teacher would leave the building waiting for that PCR result. This initially, everyone will be tested in room 205, which is next to the computer lab, once per month. This is now twice per month. So CPS increased this. So I will update that as well. I apologize. So the self-reporting tool is here. So again, this will, hopefully you've looked at this. Hopefully you've looked at the data tracker. That's how CPS is tracking it. And this is only for a positive test. So that is not for, hey, I was in contact with someone that I think had it or that tested positive, and I don't know if I was around them when they tested positive. That is for a positive test. So you can look more about that. I don't want to go too much into that because we did a lot last time, but I'm happy to answer questions if there's clarifying questions. Let me just kind of, this is probably the most important slide that in terms of parent partnership. Like I said in the past, when a kid is sick, it's often a burden or a struggle at home because the next day they come back and they're probably, still not all feeling that great or whatever. And then they got double the work and this and that. So with us having that Google Meet option, we're really please encouraging parents to keep your kids home if it is a sniffle, if the kid's feeling a little off, because now, one, we're not doing the homework anymore, right? So there is really no homework. As long as the kids are getting their stuff done in their 8 to 3 time, they really shouldn't have homework. But two, in years past, they never had that option to sign on to Google Meet. So if it's a sniffle, I understand that normally in years past, they could tough it out whenever. We're asking you as a partnership to really keep them home, sign on to the Google Meet link, and then their attendance will still be counted like normal. So we have 4 attendance codes that we use. It's either present, PIP, present in person, PV, which is present virtual, TV, which is tardy virtual, and then absent is absent. So, if they sign on their Google Meet, they're still going to be marked as present, just like they would be, even if it's a day that they're supposed to be in the hybrid model. Okay. So the more we can, have attention to this and a partnership on this, I think will make everything that much more successful. Again, tons of pictures, one-way stairwells. You'll see in the new building, all of these drinking fountains are closed because we don't have the water bottle filters in the new building. They are in the old building. So here you have one on each floor. So those are definitely encouraged. Mrs. Wang asked a question. Can we email Miss Vicky? Supposed to be in person, but choose virtual for that day. Yes, absolutely. Miss Vicky, Miss Maria is actually our attendance coordinator too. So you can email her, Miss Vicky, myself, or even the homeroom teacher. You know, we've been Miss Vicky, myself, Miss Carol, and Miss Maria have actually been taking the attendance this entire year. Starting tomorrow, teachers will begin taking their attendance again. So, you know, you can email the homeroom teacher and just say, hey, you know, my child, you know, isn't feeling all that hot. They're going to stay home and sign on virtual. And the teacher can mark them present virtual. So great question. Cafeteria is set up. I'll take a picture of did I take a picture of the we got laundry baskets like this with recess equipment for each pod. So those have been delivered. So every room has every pod. So if you go in Miss Gustafson's room, she's got 2 laundry baskets, one that says pod A, one that says pod B. Or shift A, shift A, shift B. So it'll be, you know, a football, a jump rope, a frisbee, and a kickball or something like that. So that's been all delivered. So yeah, feel free to go through the pictures. You know, we got the True Touch TVs, which will be a huge help. The PTO has been a great help in providing the teachers some document cameras. We have those document cameras, but some of the ones that the teachers have been purchasing have been a lot easier and more user-friendly to use. So I know a couple of the math teachers, because, you know, they're doing a lot of, you know, modeling different problems and equations and stuff like that document camera. This is the sanitizing machine that CPS provided. Our PTO is actually going to provide us an additional sanitizing machine because CPS has very strict guidelines in terms of what this can be used for. So the PTO is going to purchase this one, which we're super excited about because we're going to use it on the playground. We're going to use it on, you know, any and all areas where maybe CPS and Airmark are not, you know, their guidance doesn't really allow for that. The care room, it looks like this. So again, you have, you know, desks associated apart. This will be if a student is ill with COVID-19 symptoms. So if a kid needs an ice pack, they will not go into the care room. They will still report to Miss Vicky's office and she'll give them an ice pack, or a bloody nose. You know, those are non-COVID-19 symptoms. So those will still be dealt with in the main office, because if a student does go in the care room, Ms. Vicky, who's our care room attendant number 1, I'm the care room attendant number 2, we have to kind of like PP up, which is a gown, a mask, you know, a face shield, all this different stuff. So if it is not, you know, like I said, if it's a nosebleed or an ice pack or I hurt my foot or something like that, they're not going to go into the care room. They would just go to the regular main office. All right, and then the Q&A. I'm not going to go through all of these. Hopefully you were able to read them, but I will go over a couple of the new ones. You know, as per usual, this is our kind of metric, and, you know, whatever. I'm not thinking of the adjective, but this is our, you know, thing that we're continuously falling back on, is the 6 feet social distancing, because then we can, you know, eliminate what we call these close contacts and all of that. So. You know, that's a super important slide. Hopefully you were able to look at the YouTube videos about the air circulation. Those were super helpful. We do have both units. We have the new building and the old building. So those have been both upgraded, and Angel and Carlos, Mr. Angel and Mr. Carlos got training on, you know, everything that they're supposed to do on their end in terms of circulating that and what that looks like. We did send out the hybrid shifts so that you do, if your student is in the hybrid model, you know, kind of what you should have already known what shift they're in terms of Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. But it did kind of list some of the other students that were in there. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, we went over the lunch and recess, so it'll be 30 minutes of each. The students will get their mask break while they're eating, obviously, but the expectation is still going to be for them to use their mask at recess. So whether it's indoor or outdoor, the mask is still going to be the expectation. You know, I've talked to a bunch of different schools. They're utilizing the same thing. So that's going to be our protocol for that. You know, we talked about the different areas. So for example, if we have 3rd and 4th grade, they're going to recess at different times. So 4th grade may have, you know, these 2 sections. 3rd grade, the other 4th grade pod has these 2 sections. Then 3rd grade comes out when 4th grade's eating. So the only big one that we have is K1-2. So if you look at K1-2, First grade has a different recess than K and second. So K and second will be out at the same time, but again, that will be something where Mrs. Berry's pod will be here, Mrs. Yadow's pod will be here, Mrs. Murray, Miss Trapp, and then Miss Bertini may have, the concrete and the track or something like that. So that's something that we're training the support staff that will be supervising out there on what that's going to look like. Let me get to, okay, so we've always been what we call a peanut sensitive school, where there were some instances where peanuts were allowed. And then we had the peanut free lunch table where if the kids had a lunch, an allergy, they would eat at that peanut free table and bring a buddy over with them or something. So, with a lot of moving parts and different personnel watching different rooms and the supervision and all of that, we are asking that everything's just peanut free for the remainder of this year, so that, they are the only ones sitting in their desk on the days that they're in the building, and they are obviously 6+ feet apart. But, this will just allow for a nice, easy consistency across the board, K to 8. And then, our Wi-Fi is plenty fast. We will be fine with the Wi-Fi. That is not a concern. That's pretty much it. The teachers will be reaching out in terms of what their expectations are to bring. And then the last thing I'll say is, if your student is using a personal device, first off, thank you. We appreciate it, because at the beginning of the year, we did not have enough Chromebooks. We currently do. So if your student is using their own, mom or dad's computer or a desktop computer, and they're signed up for hybrid, when they come in the building, there will be a school-issued Chromebook waiting for them on their desk. So that will be their go-to device moving forward that they will take to and from school. So now, if you want to type in the chat questions, yep. So the pod, the Shift A and Shift B and the pods were posted on the cafeteria windows, and they were also sent in the newsletter on Monday night. Absolutely, movement breaks will be allowed and encouraged. So you think of it this way, if the class is 9 to 10, I think you've probably seen some of the teachers dismiss the kids at maybe 9:50, so that they can, get a little bit of movement break at home. That'll look the same. So they'll dismiss them at 9:50. The kids will sign off if they're remote for that day. And then the in-person kids will get some type of movement break, or they'll take a bathroom break where they'll get up, stretch their legs, reset before their next class begins or their next activity. Could the kids have options? We are not going to encourage any Chromebooks to be left at school. And the reason being is that we don't know what the next day is going to look like. Hopefully the snow is behind us, but if there was a snow day, we don't know if your kid will be ill and then they don't have a device. So the expectation is going to be for them to bring their items to and from each night. They will have their own desk. Every kid has a desk. We're not using tables. Like in the past, kindergartners use tables. Everyone has a desk like this. So you see Mrs. Karasik's room, the first grade desks are low. They will be able to put their stuff in their desk. That's their desk for their 2 days that they're here. But each night they have to take the stuff out and bring it home. One, we want to make sure they have everything at home in case they don't come back the next day. But two, it allows for Maria Rosa at night to really, clean and properly clean everything instead of trying to work around, I don't want to get the kid's math book wet or whatever. So that's going to be kind of the expectation in terms of the student supplies and Chromebooks. And then, like I said, we want them to charge them. But if there will be a couple chargers, two of each Chromebook model charger in the room. So Ms. Garcia, the kids in person will not be on the Google Meet. And the reason being is that there'll be an echo factor. So they're basically going to hear everything the teacher's saying out of the teacher's mouth. If they were, let's say they had headphones on and they're on the Google Meet, that would come in about a half second to a second delay, and there would be like an echo factor. So if the kid is in the building, let's use an example here. So here's Miss Gustafson, 118. So she has the 9 kids in front of her. She's had 17 remote. These 17 kids will be on the same Google Meet, and Miss Gustafson will be on it. So she will use the True Touch TV that's at the front to basically show the 9 kids that are in person exactly what these guys are seeing at home, but there is no need for them to be on the Google Meet because their participation will be in person. So let's say Miss Gustafson, she's a language arts teacher. So let's say she's like, they're working on main idea, for example, and they're doing a mini lesson on main idea. She's going to be able to toggle back and forth between, all right, I'm going to ask you a question about main idea on this short story that we just read. If one of these kids raise their hand, she may call on them, and then these 9 kids that are in person will be able to hear them through the CPS provided speakers and microphone. If she calls on one of these 9 kids that's in person, these 17 will be able to hear what one of those 9 kids that are sitting in person said. So there's really not a need or a want for them to be on the Google Meet. Great question, though. And that's something we've practiced every day the last 2 days. We had a couple teachers go to a different room and test it out. Some of the teachers stayed. So, we're prepping to make sure that's smooth. So the sanitation is like it's a 2-part process. So it's they have what they call Vertex. It's a cleaning bottle that they spray, and then they wipe down with these blue, sanitizing pads or towels. And then that sanitizing machine is a top coat. So that's kind of like a touchless sanitizing top coat. So then they would spray that over the desk, over the chairs, and it kind of, I don't want to say it's like a Lysol, but it basically is a disinfectant killer, more powerful than like a Lysol. Yes, Miss Coleman, the schedule will stay the same for probably the rest of the year. So Wednesday will be the shortened schedule for the remainder, unless CPS changes something in fourth quarter. But yes, for the remainder of the year, that Wednesday will be an asynchronous afternoon. This will be done on Wednesdays during deep clean. So it'll be done each night. The cleaning process will be done each night and throughout the day. So Mr. Angel will be going and cleaning the bathrooms on an hourly, the railings on the stairwells, the door handles. That'll be cleaned throughout the day. The deep clean is really, kind of like an extra layer, and it allows Rose and Maria, who are night janitors, they're here 1:30 to 9:30. So, the 2 of them are cleaning the whole building on the night. So on that Wednesday with no kids in the building, they'll come in earlier, and then you'll have Carlos and Angel also assisting. So it'll really allow for more hands-on to really, get every crevice and, potential area for that deep clean that Wednesday day. Any other questions? And feel free to unmute too. You don't have to type it in the chat if you'd rather unmute. That's totally fine too. Yeah, so the teachers will be doing, scheduled bathroom breaks. We are going to do, this is a great thing that I forgot to bring up. So on Monday, from 8 to 9 a.m., every group will have kind of like an asynchronous block or from 8 to 9 so that we can do what we're calling an orientation. So these kids that are coming in the building normally have their specials. The students that will be at home will have an asynchronous time for that just on Monday so that we can go over an orientation for all the students that are in the building. And then on Thursday, we will have another 1-hour orientation. So, sorry to make you dizzy. So these 8 kids that are in the building on Monday in Miss Bertini's class, Miss Bertini usually does reading first period. She'll assign an asynchronous activity for these 18 kids so that she can go an hour through bathroom procedures, hallway procedures, classroom procedures, lunch, recess. That's going to be stuff that until the kids are in the building, it's going to be that off factor of, holy cow, I'm back in the building. We want to give them, all the tools they need necessary to be successful in the hybrid model. And then on Thursday, we will do the same thing, a 1-hour asynchronous orientation from 8 to 9 for these 6 kids, while these 20 have an asynchronous activity. So that's just going to allow the teachers to really focus on the kids that are in the building for that 1 hour. And like I said, just go through the, X's and O's in regards to safety measures, protocols, We have to remember also these kindergartners have never been in the building, and the first graders were only in the building for, 6 months before the school closure. So, we have to almost treat the first graders like, we're kind of, re-going over everything. Yeah, there's plenty of hand sanitizers everywhere. So CPS, like I said, CPS has done a phenomenal job in terms of getting us what we need. And these touchless hand sanitizers are everywhere. Where are they at? These ones right here. So it's a, sensor. You just throw your hand underneath and it squirts it out. And then every room has, little bottles of hand sanitizer, wipes, Kleenex, gloves, disposable mask in case, a kid has a spill and his regular mask gets ruined or something like that. So every room has what they need, and these are littered all over the building.
Mr. Kennedy, can you show a picture of the cafeteria tables?
Sure.
The lunchroom? Yep.
So we have these. All right. So these are about 9 feet in between, 8 to 9 feet. So again, if you take, for example, the first grade is eating in the caf, correct? So think of our first grade. Let me just pull up the hybrid schedule real quick. So first grade's eating in the caf. They go to recess first. Then they'll eat their lunch from 11:30 to 12. So while these 5 kids are outside, 11 and 8, they will then come inside the recycling hallway. We'll bring in 103 while these guys stay outside, assuming it's outdoor recess. They'll wash their hands, and then they will have there's 2 rows dedicated to each room. So Miss Gustafson's 5 kids will eat on the left side of the cafeteria. Miss Haig's 11 will eat in the middle, and then Miss Krasnik's will eat on the right. So it's very defined in terms of where they'll be sitting. And then all the desks and tables are facing they're like the science lab tables or art tables is what we're using. So they'll all be facing the same way. So for example, Miss Haig's 5 kids may be sitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. And then we have these green and orange cones. So the minute the kid sits down, this cone will get switched to red. We're going to wipe down all the tables every hour, but that at least gives us an idea of if a student was sitting in which specific spot to make sure that it's heavily wiped and sanitized prior to the next group coming in. And we had 7th and 8th grade do NWA testing in January. I had 29 kids in here with me, or 27, I believe. And it worked out really well. It was a nice dry test run to see how everything went. And Miss Munns, I think, had 12 testing with her in Miss Kresmer's room. So we've already kind of tested it out. We're happy with everything we'll be able to do to maintain that. So again, if these guys, first grade, for my example, they have recess first. So they'll come in this door over here, and there's 2 sinks right there. So they'll wash their hands, we'll let them in. And then if they're getting school lunch, they'll go to the lunch line and then go back to their seat. If they're getting home lunch, they go right to their seat and begin eating. If you have an example like 5th or 6th grade where they're eating first, so 6th grade is in the caf. So again, let me just, not to make you dizzy again, but provide further context. 6th grade is eating in the caf. These guys are all eating lunch first because we have 7th, 8th have recess first. So these guys will all be eating 12 to 12:30. So these 2, Chuchi and Beastie's homerooms, will be eating in their homerooms. Brinza and Mr. Krisich will be eating in the caf. So you'll have these 7 kids on the left side of the pole, these 8 kids on the right side of the pole. They will then go out. So again, going back to our cafeteria picture, they'll go out that corner door. So we have an out and an in. So like I said, Miss Brinza's 7 kids will be sitting over here. Mr. Kristich's 8 kids will be sitting over there. And then when the 12:30 time run comes up, they'll go out this door for recess. All right. Hopefully that helps clarify. Yes. Mr. Vankas brings up a great point. I'll put that in the newsletter. I think I still have the picture on the newsletter. The PTO is still selling, at cost. They're not making any money on this. They have personalized masks and gaiters that are being sold through the PTO. So I think, you know, they purchased them and they're selling them for whatever they bought them for. So a nice little way to add some school spirit. Yes, great, Ms. Browers, great question. So we did get a grant to run after school programming. We just didn't want to throw too much at you, but that is getting going. Yearbook actually already started. Girls on the Run will be starting up shortly. And then we'll have a wide range of, I know Miss Trapp's doing a second grade art class. We'll have a wide range of after school activities. All of the after school activities will be starting virtually with a potential to move to in person. But I know Yearbook has already started. They've met, I believe, twice already, and they are meeting virtually. So at some point, if we, you know, get into late March, early April, and we move to, you know, in person for after school or something like that, that is a possibility. So stay tuned. This Friday's newsletter will have after school opportunities in there. Is there a way to save the children? No, I know, Ms. Yamanaka, we've preached with CPS, like the health screener is a little bit laborious in terms of if you have multiple kids. There's no way for you to save the birthday. You have to enter the kid's birthday every morning. I know it's super frustrating. Yeah, I wish they could streamline it a little bit easier, but that is not in their plans, I don't think. And the reason you have to enter their birthday, though, is because of this exact slide. So just to give you a little bit more context, you know what? Let me actually bring you to – thank you for staying on. We finished in 2 minutes, but I want to show you one other thing. So here is this is kind of an in-house thing that we've used. We haven't blasted this to the parents. But this will give you a little bit of context in terms of what personnel are doing what in the morning and what that looks like. So again, there's the doors that they're coming in. So here we have morning assignments. So you have Miss Maria who's doing the temperature checks at door 1. You have Miss Ocampo who's doing temperature checks at door 11 and so on. You know, I'm outside, Angel's outside. You have these teachers we're calling hallway supervision. So let me paint you a picture real quick. If your child is in first grade, they're coming in door 11. So their health screener should be done before they arrive. They will walk in. Miss Ocampo will be standing about 15, 20 feet inside the door. Your child would walk to Miss Ocampo and get the forehead screen. And if it lights up green below 100.4, they will then go and line up in front of their lockers. So that first grade, if they're in Miss Haig's room, they would line up in front of 106 lockers. They are no longer Miss Ocampo's responsibility. They now become Miss Organitz's responsibility. She'll be walking up and down the first grade hallway, confirming that the kids are 6 feet apart, but she'll also have an iPad, and she will be confirming that they have they will get this little green logo on their rosters, confirming that their screener is done. So Miss Organis will be walking up and down. So she'll be given an iPad. She'll walk up and down and be like, oh, okay, you know, I see, you know, Chris is standing here in front of Miss Haig's room. Let me go down. Do they have the green icon next to their name? If they do, that means one, they already passed Miss Ocampo, which means they already confirmed a nice forehead screen. But two, now they have the green icon next to them, which means mom or dad completed the screener for them. If it's yellow, that means they didn't complete the screener, and then we got to troubleshoot and either call home because a first grader is not going to be able to answer those screener questions. So then we have to call home. You know, the kid will be kind of waiting in the hallway while we confirm that, and then they'll be let in. If they're red, that means the screener has failed. They're not supposed to come to school that day, or that means the kid shouldn't even be at school that day. So if a kid accidentally shows up on Monday, Tuesday when they're in shift B and they're supposed to be here Thursday, Friday, it's going to be a red icon, and then we'll have to call home and, you know, explain that. So, so we have what we're calling hallway supervision staff, and then we have what we're calling temperature check staff. So that's kind of to give you a little bit of insight into what that looks like. And then same thing for lunch, you know, we have our lunch duty and all that. That's still being worked out. But yeah, they'll get greeted by a staff member, and then that's kind of the protocol for the morning. Any questions regarding that? that's all I got, unless there's more questions. You know, I thought we were going to go 40 minutes. We went 55. So thank you for staying on. But like I said, we're confident in our plan, and you know, we're looking forward to a smooth start. And the one last thing I'll say, we still have 38 people on here. So again, because we're doing that 7:50 to 8 a.m. rolling start, soft opening, you know, in Miss Haig's room, not all 9 kids in Miss Haig's room are going to come at 7:50. Some will come at 7:50. Some will show up at 7:53. Some will show up at 7:55. One might show up at 8:01. So that allows them to wait in the hallway in a socially distant manner. You know, they're not using their lockers, so they'll keep their belongings with them. And then when they enter the room, then they'll throw their stuff in their desk, you know, put their backpack on the back of their chair and so on. So, you know, it's all making sense in our head. Now we just have to go execute it. Thanks for being here. If you do have questions, please reach out to your teacher if it's something they can answer, or Mrs. Munns, myself. Thank you. Like I said, it's a partnership. You know, we don't need to be redundant in our newsletter saying, you know, thank you for the partnership. But again, it's a team effort with everyone, and we couldn't do it without your guys' help and attention to all the details as well. So we look forward, super jacked to have the kids in the building. So we're excited. And then those kids that are not in the building, like I said, we're excited to continue their remote learning, and they should not see any drop off or anything like that either.
Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.